I have often reflected on the nature of human interaction, and though I stand as emperor and philosopher, I find no earthly domain more intricate than the subtle interplay between a man's character and the perception others hold of him, especially in the realm of personal relationships and intimate connections. In my time, I have observed countless men, senators, generals, merchants, soldiers, and common citizens alike, each striving in his own way to garner respect, admiration, and at times, the affection of women. I have seen men boast of their wealth, parade their status, or flaunt their physical vigor, yet these gestures often fail to produce the true, lasting impression they desire. The question arises, why do some men draw attention effortlessly, as if by some quiet gravity, while others must labor and strive in vain? Allow me to share my contemplations on this matter, not as an emperor dispensing some rigid rule, but as a man who has sought to understand human nature and the subtle forces that govern our hearts and minds. For I have learned that capturing a woman's attention and leaving her with a lingering thought of you long after you have parted is not a matter of appearances or riches. It is not contingent upon the fleeting flashes of ostentation or declarations of influence. No, it lies in how a man carries himself in speech, how he communicates with both word and silence, how he holds his composure amid the rush of emotions that underlie all human dealings. It lies ultimately in how he fashions himself inwardly, for it is the interior world that projects outward the quiet signals of virtue and strength. 1. The power of first impressions, laying the foundation of lasting remembrance. In all my years, I have learned that the first moments of acquaintance between two souls can form the bedrock upon which future connection stands or falls. A woman, being gifted with a keen sensitivity to subtlety, will note a man's bearing, his tone, and his unspoken presence. Many men think to impress by immediate grand gestures, lavish gifts, or imposing their achievements upon her ears. Yet I have seen that the greatest initial impact often comes not from ostentation, but from a calm, centered confidence. If a man enters her presence with a quiet certainty of his own worth not defined by gold or by renown, but by an inner equilibrium, he creates a subtle, lasting impression. Consider how often we men focus too heavily on the external. Are we tall enough, handsome enough, decorated with sufficient honors? These are the considerations of a mind too easily swayed by externals. The Stoics teach that one should remain anchored in virtue, free from the stormy seas of fortune. If you stand firmly rooted in your values, if you carry yourself upright, speak slowly and deliberately, and listen as if her words are precious, then you have succeeded already in establishing a quality presence. She will remember you because you have made her feel something subtly profound: security, presence, and genuine curiosity. Do not mistake calmness for weakness, nor quiet confidence for passivity. On the contrary, these virtues show a mastery of the self, and when a man masters himself, others are naturally drawn to him. I have noticed that from the first instant, how one holds one's body conveys far more than many realize. Stand straight, breathe evenly, and when you speak, use your voice not as a torrent of words to impress, but as a gentle current that invites her to listen more closely. If you can achieve this, you have laid a foundation for connection that transcends mere words. The unspoken language of confidence. In the courts of Rome and the dusty fields of the empire's borders, I have seen true confidence shine brighter than armor. True confidence is not forged overnight, nor is it something a man can mimic through exaggerated gestures. It is a quiet understanding of one's place in the cosmos, an acknowledgement that you are neither a god to be worshipped nor a worm to be trodden upon, but a human being possessed of dignity and rational thought. This self-assuredness, this sense of inner composure, cannot be faked. When a man speaks to a woman with calm deliberation and does not scramble to fill every silence, he signals that he is in control, not of her, but of himself. And that is rare, enviable, and deeply attractive. Pauses in speech, those moments of silence that so many fear, can become allies. When you allow a quiet space after your words, you afford her the time to reflect, to feel, to lean into the conversation. It is as though you say, "I do not fear silence, nor do I need to clamor for your attention." Such composure sends a subtle but powerful message. She will think of this interaction later, impressed by the unhurried pace, the solidity of your presence, the emotional restraint that sets you apart from those who attempt to impress through haste and noise. Emotional control as a pillar of attraction. There have been times when a witty remark or a light challenge from a woman could unmoor a man's composure, causing him to react defensively or anxiously. But consider the Stoic counsel. Between the world's impressions and our judgments about them lies a space. In that space is our power to choose. A man who can greet a teasing comment with a calm smile or gentle laughter demonstrates more than thick skin. He shows resilience and emotional maturity. Such a man need not become flustered or prove himself. His tranquility signals that his identity does not hang upon external validation. Women, as I have observed, naturally gravitate toward men who maintain composure under pressure, for it suggests stability, and stability suggests safety and depth. This emotional control, this quiet strength, often lingers in her mind. When she recalls your conversation, what resonates is not merely what you said, but how you made her feel. She will note that you were not rattled, that you handled yourself with grace and humor. This memory, infused with positive emotion, ensures that you linger in her thoughts long after you part ways. Subtle gestures that speak louder than words. We live in a world where men often believe only grandiose acts carry meaning. But it is often the subtle, considered gestures that whisper the truth of your character. The steady calm of your voice, the sincerity in your eye contact, the relaxed posture of your hands, all these speak volumes. Women perceive these nuances keenly. If you show genuine attentiveness, nodding gently as she speaks, allowing your gaze to rest warmly upon her eyes, and never fidgeting in nervous haste, you communicate a powerful message. I see you, I value you, and I need not perform. This sort of presence cannot be feigned. It arises naturally when you are at ease with yourself. Therefore, I say again, cultivate your inner world. Strive to live in accordance with virtue, and your external signs, your subtle gestures and tones, will flow naturally and attractively from that inner state. 2. The art of mystery, the unseen allure. In these times, as in the centuries to come, many are tempted to bare their entire souls too quickly. They speak too freely, spill their stories without restraint, and hope that by flooding another with details, they will secure interest. But interest rarely survives such a flood. Consider how the mind works. It seeks to solve puzzles, to peer into the unknown. If you reveal all at once, there is no intrigue, no reason for her to revisit your memory and wonder what lies beneath the surface. I have learned that being somewhat mysterious, revealing only fragments of your life, your ambitions, your interests, heightens curiosity. When you refrain from immediately answering every question in detail, when you say simply, "It's a bit complicated," or "I'm working on a project I'm passionate about, I'll tell you more another time," you plant a seed of wonder. She departs the conversation with unanswered questions, her mind turning over what you might have meant. This mental engagement ensures she will think of you again. To be clear, mystery should not be wielded as a game or as a tool of cruelty. It is not about frustrating her. It is about maintaining enough depth and complexity that she understands there is more to discover. Embrace the notion that not all truths need be uttered at once. Life is a journey, and you need not give her a complete map on the very first encounter. Deliberate ambiguity and the power of silence. I recall times when my counselors or friends would pause after I questioned them, letting silence fill the air. This silence often compelled me to think more deeply. In similar fashion, strategic use of silence can create a certain emotional tension that enriches your interaction. When you ask a meaningful question and then fall silent, you give her room to reflect. Perhaps the silence lasts only a few moments, but in that space, the connection intensifies. This is not done to unsettle her, but to show that you are comfortable dwelling momentarily in uncertainty and reflection. In a world often too loud and hurried, a man who can allow silence to exist sets himself apart. She will come to cherish these moments because they are genuine, unforced, and imbued with meaning. Playing the long game, patience and layered revelation. I have often advised patience to generals and statesmen, for victory in battle and the securing of peace often come not from rash assaults, but from measured strategy. The same holds true in personal connections. Reveal yourself gradually, layer by layer, never in a single overwhelming flood. Each subsequent meeting can bring forth new insights, small revelations that deepen her understanding of you. This patience amplifies anticipation. As she learns more, piece by piece, she invests emotionally, desiring to see what else lies beneath your calm exterior. With each encounter, she wants to know a bit more about your values, your past experiences, your dreams. This steady unfolding binds her interest more firmly and makes your absence more keenly felt. 3. Emotional impact. Enriching the exchange beyond words. Words are cheap if they carry no authentic emotion. Anyone can chatter about trivialities, recount banal facts, or produce hollow compliments. But to truly connect, you must engage her emotions. I have discovered that questions of real depth, that invite her to reflect upon what moves her heart, stir something profound. Skip lightly over superficial queries. If you remain mired in the shallows, you create no lasting impression. Instead, consider what she holds dear. Ask her not just what she does, but why she does it. What sparks passion in her soul? What has she learned from her hardest challenges? When you frame your questions with genuine interest, you enter the rich domain of emotion, a place where bonds are formed and memories etched deep. Asking thought-provoking questions and crafting emotional experiences. If you truly wish her to remember you, ask her the kind of questions that make her pause and say, "No one has ever asked me that before." Such queries might include, "What's something you dream of creating, even if it seems impossible?" Or, "What experience has taught you the most about who you really are?" These questions act as keys, unlocking deeper reflections. She will feel seen, understood, and respected. This enriches the interaction, forging emotional ties that transcend superficial charm. Consider also the stories you share with her. If you tell tales only of your triumphs, she may sense bragging. Instead, weave narratives that reveal your values, your struggles, and the lessons you have drawn from them. If you wish to evoke a sense of adventure, recount how you overcame fear to try something new. To show vulnerability, share a moment of difficulty and what it taught you about resilience. By doing this, you place not just words before her, but emotions, courage, tenderness, curiosity, empathy. These emotional elements lodge themselves in memory, ensuring that thoughts of you carry a warm hue. Planting emotional hooks that linger in the mind. You need not rely solely on depth and gravity. Even well-timed humor or compliments that show genuine appreciation can serve as emotional hooks. Perhaps you note a unique quality in her, her thoughtful way of pausing before she speaks, or the quiet conviction in her beliefs. By acknowledging traits that others overlook, you show that you truly observe her. Such sincere recognition resonates more powerfully than empty flattery. She will recall it later and smile, feeling understood in a way so few manage to achieve. 4. The power of absence. Understanding the push-pull dynamic. In both governance and personal interaction, I have come to value the interplay of presence and absence. When a man is always present, forever pressing himself into another's space, he often diminishes the value of his company. A wise man knows that too much closeness too soon can stifle intrigue and suffocate emotional growth. Consider that after a meaningful conversation, the best approach may not be to flood her with messages or to remain constantly at her side. Absence creates a sweet longing, a gentle hunger to reconnect. This dynamic is akin to breathing. Inhale and exhale, presence and absence. When you step back after a positive encounter, you grant her the space to reflect on it. Memory and emotion mature in the silence between meetings. She may find herself wondering how you are, what you are doing, and anticipating the next meeting with pleasant expectation. This is not manipulation, but an honoring of the natural rhythm of human emotional response. Why over-communication stifles attraction. In an age or any time when one can send messages without delay, there is a temptation to remain perpetually connected. But if you are always available, always ready with an immediate response, you remove the mystery and the value of your presence. Too much communication can make your company feel common, easily attainable, and thus less treasured. Show restraint. Respond thoughtfully, not instantly. Let a few hours pass before replying to a message. Give her room to breathe, to think, to miss you. As counterintuitive as it may seem, withholding your constant presence actually intensifies the appreciation of your eventual return. This is how gardens grow, not by flooding them ceaselessly with water, but by giving water and then allowing time for absorption and growth. Departing at the pinnacle, leaving her wanting more. When concluding a conversation, consider ending it on a high note. Do not wait until the talk drags and both of you grow weary. Leave when the energy is still elevated, when laughter has just subsided, or when a shared insight still glows brightly in the air. I must attend to a matter now, but I would love to continue this soon, you might say. By departing before the peak wanes, you leave her with a lingering desire for more. This echoes the old maxim, always leave the table while still a bit hungry. 5. Re-engaging with purpose, timing and depth in renewed contact. Now consider how and when you reinitiate contact. If you return too soon, you may smother the spark. Wait until a sense of gentle longing might have taken root, and then re-engage in a way that recalls a previous shared moment. Remind her of something you discussed, a topic that stirred her passion or curiosity. This thoughtful re-engagement says, "I was truly listening, and I value what matters to you." When you come back into her life, do not revert to shallow conversation. Instead, build on the foundation of depth you established. By showing you remember details of her life and the sentiments she expressed, you affirm that her words did not vanish into the ether. In a world filled with fleeting interactions, your attention and recollection are profound gifts. They convey respect and genuine interest, virtues that will only strengthen your connection. If, for example, she mentioned a project that challenges her or a goal she has set for herself, inquire about it later. "I've been thinking about what you said about your new project. How goes your progress?" Such a question stands out because it signals sincerity. She will recall that you engaged not just in her appearance or a passing joke, but in her inner world, her ambitions and struggles. Building something deeper over time. Recall that true human connection, like a mighty oak, grows slowly. Each conversation adds a ring of growth, a widening of understanding. Over time, she comes to see you as a person of substance, a man both thoughtful and composed. It is this combination, confidence, mystery, emotional resonance, respect for timing, and mindful re-engagement, that ensures she will think of you when you are absent, miss your presence, and welcome your return. Conclusion: communication as the art of the soul. In all my reflections as a ruler and philosopher, I have learned that communication is far more than the mere exchange of words. It is the interplay of emotion, reason, virtue, and authenticity. A man who wishes to remain in a woman's thoughts, to be remembered and appreciated, must cultivate these qualities within himself first. He must be patient, temperate, and true to his values. He must learn to value silence as well as speech, subtlety as well as clarity, restraint as well as engagement. By mastering these arts, he becomes the sort of man who naturally attracts rather than chases. He does not seek to dominate or manipulate her mind, but to invite her into a space of mutual respect, curiosity, and shared humanity. And in doing so, he finds that he never needs to rely on superficial charms. It is the quality of his presence, rooted in inner virtue and reflected in the subtle cadence of his words and silences, that kindles interest, fosters emotional connection, and ensures that when he is gone, he remains beautifully unforgettable. As I, Marcus Aurelius, remind myself daily, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Let your thoughts be worthy, let your speech reflect them, and know that in doing so, you become a man whose memory lingers, a steady figure in her mind's eye. If you cultivate your inner estate, all outer relationships will follow, not by force, but by the natural magnetism of virtue and authenticity. And so, as the days pass and the world shifts, your presence will remain something she recalls and anticipates, long after the echoes of your last words have faded into silence.